How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Whispers from the Void. As always, I'm Evan.
And I'm Phil, David Sport Intimates. Thanks for tuning in, folks!
I was gifted with a nice surprise. Phil has brought in another guest, a return guest, actually. I think it was like episode 4. And
10.
10?
10 with Matt.
Episode 10 with Matt McGackie. Hop Daddy himself. We have our good buddy Stef Dell's here with us.
Hey,
PODCRASTINATION and Brewer Extraordinaire. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. I'm thirsty as usual, and I'm just happy to see your pretty face again. Phil too, but I've seen that guy 2 days ago, so that doesn't really count.
Come on.
Still happy to see him. It's just
Yeah.
I've seen him more recently than yours, so.
Yeah, I'm not really a face that you could see every day, so here I am.
Yeah, sometimes it's better, just to see once a year.
In my glory, yeah. No, I think that's probably best for us anyway, huh? Fun fact, I actually guested on Stef's podcast and did not record it.
Back, yeah.
Recorded it terribly,
Yep.
and it didn't come out, and here we are. So
There you go. So hopefully we're not cursing this one too, and then the audio is just gonna like.
well,
fuck, and then
at least
nothing
this
can
time
happen.
I actually have something that's recording it. So
Oh, okay. No,
Yeah.
That's right.
but yeah, you're thirsty. I'm thirsty. Phil, always thirsty. Why don't we start
Always.
with you, Steph? What do you got on your side, buddy?
Without any big surprise, I got a beer that I made. So I got it's a new. Actually, I'm just gonna say it straight. It's a New England IPA with a new hop that's called Nectaron. It's a New Zealand hop that's supposed to be like the new super trendy shit. Tastes like citrusy and a bit of pineapple and passion fruit. So yeah, and it's a new series that we're trying out of basically it's called the Heir To The Throne. So if we find an IPA with a hop that we want to try, it's going to be an Heir To The Throne. And if it actually becomes something of a regular, or if people want it again, it's going to become one of the Monarchs. So that's our hop series. It's all Monarchs from Sweden. So that's why it's called Heir To The Throne. So that's it. That's what it is.
That's beautiful.
Nice.
A new hop. Just when you thought that they fucking came out with all of them, huh?
I mean, like, I know some guy that is, like, growing some hop on his balcony. Like, there's a guy I met, like, in Montreal. I went to his place, and on his balcony, he was, like, growing hops.
And he had dicks everywhere.
So, what is yours, Evan?
Old favorite returning. I have some Greylock in the fridge. Imperial New England 12%. You know,
Nice.
they said if you're gonna be a cow, you might as well be a bull or something. I don't know.
They've all been saying that for many years, for sure.
So,
Did you say it was 12%? I'm sorry, Phil.
Yeah,
Did you?
12%.
Jesus fuck, that's like breakfast, I guess.
This is pretty much like where I now hover at with beers. If it's anywhere between 8 and 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
huh.
You get 3 and you have a nice sleep for like 10 hours straight.
Yeah, I need to. You know, the baby. I mean, my wife and baby are not here. She has a friend visiting from Florida, so they're out and about right now. So I'm taking full advantage of the fact that they are not here at the
Full
moment.
advantage of the 12% IPAs laying around
Yeah.
in the fridge.
12%. Like, after this, I'm going to bed. I don't think you guys understand how like riveting that sounds to me right now. You know?
Damn.
Yeah,
So-
dude, like, it's nice.
My thirsty beer. It's a beer that Steph made. Or maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't make that one. That's
Okay,
an
so
older
he
one.
didn't made that one.
I made
but
the
it's-
next one though.
It's from his company. So, Bob Magnale, Sir Bourbarov.
Bourbarov.
Sir Bourbarov.
Number
It
3,
was
I
bottled
guess.
in 2020, so it's like 2 years old. That little boy,
Yeah.
he's growing so fast.
They are. We don't have much left. We've already we had to kind of go around. There was supposed to be a 4th edition coming out, and then the barrels weren't thick basically. So we threw them away. It's usually 6 barrels that we use, and only 1 was good. So we're trying to make something new with it. But we have but we had 2 stout coming out in the last month, and we have a 3rd one coming out this month. So
Nice.
and then this one 2 years old. It's in barrels of Evan Hill bourbon for the bourbon geeks.
Perfect. So, cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And also, stout is a good thing for now because since yesterday it's snowing
It is. It is.
in
We
Quebec
had,
City, in Actonville, in everywhere in Quebec,
Pretty much,
and
yeah.
Ontario, and whatever. It's
some
snowing.
places had almost 5 inches of snow.
Well, I had
So-
5 inches yesterday
Yeah,
on my
yeah.
car.
I had snow. This was, I think it was Tuesday night into Wednesday. I had snow. Quickly melted. I know that like Buffalo's getting like fucking 6 feet.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah, this Sunday they're getting hit with like a monster storm. It's gonna be crazy.
Oh shit.
Yeah, yeah. Imagine that.
Uh,
I could go for one of those right now. That'd be nice.
I mean, to be fair, I'm not the biggest fan of snow, so so that's the thing. I don't want to snow too much. Like I will tolerate it, but like it's too soon for snow now. It's too soon.
We're already like past mid-November. Dollar store is already fucking
It's already
full of
too soon.
Christmas stuff.
It's
I've already
too
heard
soon.
Mariah Carey at least 5 times this week, so I think snow is due. I don't really care. I walk to go to work, so yeah.
I mean,
don't
I
give a
don't walk. I don't walk to go to work. I walk to do something else, but I don't walk to go to work because I'm in Saint Raymond.
I actually just can't wait to get my snowshoes out.
Ow!
So that
What?
is he yelling at the cat?
Yeah, he's lit.
My cat's being a fucking bitch.
Of course,
He has a
Evan,
tendency
always
to
trouble
do that.
with the pussies.
Yeah. Arrow. Cut the fucking shit. What a bitch.
What a bitch, Arrow!
Yeah, I know.
He's like Steven Tyler. He's a bitch. Aerosmith. So, what are the good things that you had this week, Steph, at the brewery? How is it to be
I
a
was.
brewer officially?
I was, yeah. I mean, Bob, you already know since I've talked to you, but for Evan, that probably doesn't give a shit anyway. But it was the Brewers Microbreweries Association convention. So I was 4 days in Quebec City, getting fuckface, then having to go at 8 a.m. meeting about hard piping, whatever that is, and it was cool. It was fun, but it's a bunch of people getting shit faced and then talking to one another during the day, and then that night you just like get fucking drunk. There's one guy that actually drank he was bet $60 to drink out of a toilet siphon, which he did, and it wasn't a new one, so he got sick the next day, like very violently apparently. So yeah, that's the kind of shit that happens literally at Brewers Convention. Like, it's a bad idea to have like 2 or 3 brewers in the same room. Now you get like 200 of them. Stuff's bound to happen for sure.
Damn.
But
That
it was cool.
sounds
I
nuts.
drank a shit ton. I went to a bunch of breweries that I've never been to in Quebec City. I had a bunch of beers like over there because obviously you get in and it's just like beers everywhere, so you just drink. You get a bunch of freebies from a bunch of companies, like from hops to like glassware to hats and whatever else. I did a bunch of podcasts. One of my friends was there doing a like daily podcast, so I was pretty much just chilling with him and talking about beers. So Yeah, it was cool. Still tired from it. Last night, got home after like 2 hours and a half of driving through the snow. So yeah, yay. But yeah, I slept like 12 hours, I think, and then I'm still tired today. But then again, I'm always tired, so that's something else.
Well, you were drinking like most of the day, so
Yeah,
I can
it was-
understand you. Can understand you. Like even like on Tuesday, I was drinking with you, and the thing is, I don't drink on Tuesday. Like I only drink on Thursday until
neither.
Saturday. But the thing is, it was Tuesday. I was like, okay, let's drink a little bit. I drank 5 beer. I was like, I was on my own. I was like, what have I done of my life?
Yeah, and you came and met me at a bar,
Hold
but
on.
you were already at another bar before, so
we did 3 bars. we did fucking 3 bars. Well, I did with Drew and all the gang. So like,
yeah. Well, it's kind of like I did 3 because I was at the convention during the day, and there's still beer over there, so same thing. Like during the one of the lunch we had, there were, I think it was 25 beers, and we had to rank them. So you have to try 25 beers, basically. I don't know if somebody did all of them. I think I drank like maybe, I don't know, 17, 18 of them, maybe more, I don't know. I was trying a bunch, but I didn't do the voting after, because I kind of forgot. I was just drinking them, and then I left. And you had to scan this like QR code or something, and I didn't do it. So now I was like at the other meeting afterward, and I was like, oh shit, I think I forgot to scan the thing. So I don't know why they use that. I don't know if they're gonna publish it, being like, oh, you guys like this one most. But it was like a bunch of beer with different styles, so it doesn't really matter. It's kind of, I don't know. I think it's dumb, but whatever.
oh, you like Unibrew more than like a Bob
Nah, that
Magnale.
wasn't it. But it was all like beers made with like local grains and local hop and local yeast even and stuff like that. So that was like the theme of it. But it's still just like there was a bunch of IPAs, and then you get like to a cherry saison and stuff like that. Like this doesn't like how it's harder to rank them when it's not all the same style. Is what I'm saying.
Interesting. Well, before we continue, Evan, we were just talking about like ranking beers. They were
I had to go
ranking
separate
beers.
my cats.
Huh?
I had to go separate my cats.
Ah, okay. They were starting to.
They're trying to make the babies.
No, they're just fighting.
The beast with 2 backs. The ye old 16 candles, if you know what I mean.
So you guys were
69.
ranking beers, huh? I've always
Yeah, we had to during lunch we had to drink 25 beer and rate them. But I mean, like I said, like I forgot to scan the QR code to rank them, so I just drank a shit ton of beer. And left.
Do you go to these conventions and now having seen all of like the crazy beers that have come out from like all these freaking lunatics coming up with all this crazy stuff? Is there still like ideas that get thrown around at these things that you're kind of just like that's never gonna happen, and then but sort of like in the back of your mind you're like, oh, I'm gonna see this on the fucking shelf like 2 years from now, and it's gonna be killer.
For sure. Like we were literally talking to like younger breweries or people or like younger brewer basically. People are like, yeah, I want to do this, and that. And we're like, yeah, go do it, because I'm not going to do it. So I don't care. Like, if you want to do it, go ahead. That's clearly not my jam. Like, I don't really care. And you see, like, the older guy, like, the guy that's one of the brewer, I mean, he's been doing it for 30 years now, and it's just like, he doesn't give a shit about that. Like, he's not going to do that. He's going to do his own thing, and life's going to be perfect for him, and that's it. Mm-hmm. So there's a bunch of people talking to, like, you get convention or like a little presentation of like we had one about like the like non-alcoholic beer and stuff like that. Like obviously there wasn't 200 people in there. Like they didn't give a fuck. It was like maybe 40 of us. Like just like, oh yeah, I wanted to see this. We don't necessarily plan on making one, but we have a like low ABV, like 2%, and I want to see if I could learn something about how to do it. Like that tastes good. Like it's always the issue with low ABV beer or with non-alcoholic beer in general, and it was just a shit show and was boring. So yeah, I didn't learn anything.
No,
But sometimes you go to places and you're like, I don't know. And then I went to like a 2.5-hour talk about the Kvik yeast and how it's made and why and what is it, and it was like super nerdy, and I'm like, ooh, this is interesting. So and that place was full. Like we were like way over 200 people in there.
Is there any convention that you would love to go to, if given the opportunity?
In beer or just in general?
As a brewer, like say you got invited.
Man, I don't know. Probably any of them. Like even it would be like the fucking like pastry and smoothie pumpkin convention. I'd probably go. I would hate myself, but I'd still go.
You love yourself a pumpkin beer. I know you do.
It's still like general knowledge to some extent or stuff like that could be useful at some point. And you know I've done a fucking pumpkin beer, so yeah. But like, am I gonna do smoothie beer? Like never. I don't know. Mostly we're planning to open a brew pub, so most likely we'll have to do different kind of beer just to sell. At some point, it's still a business and you need to make money. So if that's what people want, then yeah, sure, we'll make one and we'll have like one line. It's going to be like fucking smoothie, or like we're not into pastry stouts, but we're kind of making one right now. So like, yeah, we're just not going to call it pastry stout because we don't like the name. So it's probably going to be sweet stout, and we'll see if it works. But yeah, I don't know. That probably any fucking convention, like beer related stuff, I'll go. Just because I want to know. Mostly, I want to know stuff that I don't already know. Because there's no point me to, let's say, go like to fruited sour convention. Like I've done many, like a bunch of other brewers and even home brewers. Something people always do. So I already know a lot of it. I'd go to something that I don't know really what's up with that, or how to do it, or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Would you say like the craft beer industry right now is sort of flooded with a lot of people, having it been like the last couple of years? Then like, because you've probably been in this a while, made a career into it. But I do know that like in the beginning, as we've always kind of talked about, it started really slow, and now it's like picked up so much steam. You know, is it hard? Is it like getting harder to sort of find people that are like, sort of bring something to the table? You know what I mean? Because I feel like as much as it's awesome to make good IPAs and make good lagers, you know, is it the right business idea to want to do that? Or do you always have to kind of find, like, does everybody always have to kind of have, like, their new sort of, like, this is, like, new innovative thing to kind of bring
I'm going to
to the
answer
table?
with a question, which is always a shitty move to do. Do you think there's too many black metal bands? Do you think there's new people bringing new idea? Or is there just the same shit done over and over again?
I personally believe that there's an abundance of everybody doing the same thing.
But there's always going to be everybody
enough
doing the same thing. Like in any genre of music or any other industry, it's always going to be like people that do like the cliche or the actual winning recipe, because you know what? It's been done over. We know it sells. We know it works. So let's do this and make money. There's always going to be that. Then, do I think that it's too flooded right now? I don't think so. The more breweries there are right now, the less and less the Molson and Labatt will have money. So, more power to independent brewers and small businesses and local businesses. Now, you can go pretty much anywhere in the province of Quebec, like vacation and the like far north or whatever, and there's going to be a local brewery, so I can try stuff. Is there too many people trying to sell their beer at supermarket and like beer stores and whatnot? That is 100% yes. I think more and more people should try to focus on local stuff, mostly having it on tap at the brewery and then whatever like small town around them, and that's it. I believe that is something we'll go back to. We're still in the aftermath of 2 years of no bars, basically. So slowly but surely, I hope at least that's more what we're gonna see. And then at that point, if you do smoothie or New England or pastry or like good old lagers, if you're pretty much the main one or the only one in your area, it doesn't matter what kind of style you do because people are gonna go to you because you're local, and that's how it works. Then again, if you go to like the larger cities, obviously there's always going to be a bunch of breweries in larger city, but usually you don't get like you don't do the same thing. Like if two Italian restaurants open one in front of the other, like one's bound to close at some point. So
I'm realizing something about like the beer industry and just like microbreweries in general. The thing is like I like. There were a time I was like, I don't get it why there is so much breweries. But now that you say that, I think it's very intelligent to have a lot of breweries. The thing I don't like is like when every breweries is trying to sell at the same fucking place. Let's say a supermarket, like you said earlier. Or you sell at the same fucking like specialized store. It's just like there's too much the same style of beer. I think it's great, like, when you go at a local supermarket, that, like, for example, yes, you have, for example, Unibrew, you have Trou du Diable, like, the main ones, but, like, you have, I don't know, let's say, I'll take, for example, Le Castor, or, like, La Souche, or something like this in Quebec. I'm taking only Quebec example, but like, or you say in America, you have, like, I don't know, a KCBC, you have Greater Goods or whatever on the shelf. But like, when you go to something local, you have the local breweries over there, but not like every local of every city. You have, for example, when I went to L'Assomption, there were some fermenteurs in the supermarkets. I was like, okay, this is good. But like, I never saw another local brewery from near in this supermarket. I had to go to another one, and I think it's great to discover. But like, when everyone is everywhere, I just think it's a fucking shit show. That's what I think.
I just think that in any business, it's always like separate yourself from the pack somehow. But how do you do that when you're not doing something to separate yourself? You know, Worcester, for example, we have like fucking like 10 breweries here, but there's only like 2 that are like, you know, top tier and like places that like people go to consistently. You know, Wormtown, Greater Good. Yeah. And then outside of that, people always go to Treehouse, which is just the town over in Charlton. And that has like their own complex, and they're now doing like spirits, and like they're like totally expanded into like this conglomerate. They're like a totally different thing. Like I don't even know if you could call them a brewery anymore. Like they're like a whole
beverage company is the new hype word.
Yeah, they're like this whole other behemoth. I don't know. I definitely do believe that you have the ability to have too much of the same thing. But that's what makes the people that stand out so much more. You know, is that there is too much of the same thing right now.
At the end of the day, it's also like it's the consumer that decide who will survive through. If you have like 3 breweries that do only like hazy IPAs on the same street or in the same neighborhood, if everyone in that town loves hazies and they go to the 3 of them equally, then yeah, they will thrive and good. You found a market where most people that drink microbrewery, which is already like a subset of people, and that goes to breweries and are into hazies, then and yeah, you have a high ratio. Good for you. You probably were lucky. Like most places, most town in each neighborhood, you're gonna have like different tastes, and
yeah.
I mean, if it works, it works. But I guess that's why most new places now opening up. A lot have reverted back, like in the last year, like right after the pandemic, it was lagers were the big thing. So a lot of new breweries since then are the lager breweries, and now we'll see I haven't had many new breweries this year that I've actually checked out, but we'll see what's the trend in 2023. And now that we're back, like pretty much a full year of normal life, what's the new trend? What's going to be the new hype thing next year? What's like the new brewery they're going to start and be like, oh, we only do this or do that. Like we've seen it with like the kombucha for a while, like it was a big thing, and now it kind of fade away. There's still a few places that does it, but not that many. Like most breweries have stopped doing it, and they just like buy from a guy that only does that instead of having it yourself. We've seen a few, like the micro distillery. That's a big thing. Also, there's a bunch of breweries now opening distilleries in the same location. So it's a bunch of things like that. Yes, it's gonna separate them from the rest, but it's still a trend. Is the trend gonna last? I don't know. And that's, I mean, opening distillery is a big investment, so usually it's not just a trend, you keep going, but I mean, we've seen places closed or being bought because it didn't work out for them and they weren't making any money. So at the same time, like, yeah, do like research and check the market and where you're at, like what people want. And mostly if you're far from big city center, then you don't have like a good ratio of people wanting everybody. Like we're in the middle of nowhere here, and most people were drinking Bud Light and Coronas when we got here. So Imperial Stout in Bourbon Barrel Age wasn't really our best seller at first. So now we've managed to get people, talk to them, having taste the beer, and you get them slowly. And this goes back to being involved in your local area, in your city, in your town. And just make sure that, like, we're trying to sponsor every event. We're trying to get the local baseball team, like the kids hockey. I want those young guys on beer already. So, you know, kids hockey and beer is always a good thing. But yeah, no, shit ton of stuff like that. Like a local show, like during the summer, there's a bunch of show here, like outside. So, like, we want our beer to be there. So we know that we have a certain percentage of our sales that comes from the community that we invest in. And then, yeah, I do deliveries in the big centers and big cities to just have, yeah, we want our product to be elsewhere too. But we don't, like, dump our beer in every fucking grocery store on the way there. Like, I stop in a few cities, few markets that we know, like, shops that it's friends from this or that, and that's it. The rest of it, we sell it at home for sure.
Interesting. Like you were talking about towns and all, and when I went into Greenfield this summer, like I realized, because I thought there were only one brewery, there's two breweries. There's Four Phantoms that Evan and I know well, and there is People's Pint. People's Pint are doing more classic stuff, which I think is very interesting because, like, even if Four Phantoms is doing lagers and all, I think having like two breweries that does different thing, it will just like set the tone for people. It's just like, oh, I prefer to drink lagers and like old like styles, so I go to People's Pint. And if I want something like more like fancy in a way, or like I want something more trendy, like a big IPA or like a art seltzer, or like a sour like Purple Potion by Four Phantoms, I'll go to Four Phantoms if I want that. I think it's very good to have at least two breweries in a little town. When it's like 10 breweries that are doing the same thing, I think it's too much. Like I think it's just too much. Like even in Quebec, we have like, let's say maybe 6-7 breweries, maybe more.
Probably more than that. When
I
I went,
like
we opened Google Map. We opened Google Map and we're
10.
like, I don't know that one, I don't know that one, I don't know that one. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
but-
that's not a good sign because we're a bunch of brewers and we didn't know like new
Okay,
breweries,
so let's say at least 10 breweries, like in
probably somewhere
Western.
around there, yeah.
But like we have like Noctem, BG, and all. It's just like some of them are resembling. Some of them are just like going outside and they are doing like good things. Like BG are my favorite. Like in Quebec City, they are the great.
I didn't even went. I wasn't too far from there, and I didn't have the time. And they were closed on Monday, I guess. So
Yeah.
I couldn't go. But I wanted to go, and I was like, I don't have time. I tried a new one. They're doing like old school, mostly kind of British style of beer. So I was like, this is cool. Because like you said, there's a bunch of breweries in Quebec now that they're on the New England or hazy style of IPAs, with Nectaron and Emporium being big ones for that. So, but then a bunch of them are pretty close one to another, but they mostly have different specialty of beer. And anyways, Quebec is a big city, so it kind of works to have like about that 10 is kind of okay. Some of them are like in like boroughs that are a bit further from the downtown, I would say. So that helps too. So you don't have everything downtown. So you get people from that borough to go to your brewery. And then stuff like, there's 2 breweries that do mostly hazy IPA, but one of them is a pizzeria, and that's fucking great. So if you're into hazy, you might go to one another, but obviously if you're hungry, then I don't believe the other one has food. I think it's only beer. So the choice is easy. You're like, we're going to go there because we can eat. So this also goes into the doing different stuff. It's not only with your beer, it's with the place itself. Yeah. There's a bunch of breweries in Montreal that do only lagers. Only one of them is a metal bar. So this also changed the kind of people that goes there. And then if you want lagers and like metal, you're most likely going to go to the place that plays fucking Behemoth when you get in, and not the place that has Céline Dion, you know? So,
no Behemoth, no.
But I mean, that's a fucking example. But, you know, you can go to the Céline Dion place. They have good beer, but yeah.
So, I had a question. This can be for you too, Phil. But recently in Massachusetts, this spawned from all of the pandemic stuff, but they had expanded the sale of liquor between restaurants and breweries and, different venues and whatever, to sort of help out with business. And then we had a question. We had just had our like preliminary ballots and stuff recently. And so one of the questions on the ballots was basically like expanding liquor licenses and sort of like going further than just saying like, like you could basically be like, all right, well, you could take these drinks to go, or like a brewery could like, it's sort of just like expand upon who could have them, what they entail, and like the degrees of things that you'd be able to do. I know that in Canada, you guys have some pretty strict liquor laws. So is there, at any point, do you expect or hope that maybe like those archaic ideas that they still hold true might come down? Because it kind of feels like in the States, they're sort of like, and I'll tell you, like out here, it's very liberal. So I'm actually was surprised to sort of see a law like this kind of floated around, because normally it would kind of be the opposite. So I'm curious to see what you guys think about that.
Well, here let's say for microbreweries, there's 2 different kind of permits. So basically, it's either industrial brewer or artisanal brewer. And so, like, we have industrial permits, so we can sell on the spot as if we have like a store attached to us. So we have like this little store we can sell, and we can do our own deliveries to stores and whatever. We can't deliver directly to people. Artisanal brewery couldn't do store and couldn't sell beer to go prior to the pandemic, where they had the law changed, since obviously you couldn't go to bars, so they needed to like stay alive. So that changed, and now they can do it too. But I know there's like restaurants cannot sell, even if they have like private import, they cannot sell beer to go unless you buy food, which now they can do because of the pandemic also. It's kind of a bunch of really dumb thing, and it's bound to change at some point. This was actually one of the things that we're talking about at the convention. So, but it's a bunch of laws that basically exist since the dawn of Molson in the 1800s and stuff like that, just so they could sell at a higher price to restaurants and then brewers, or like when you go to like a store just to buy beer, like let's say it's $30 for a 24 pack. Obviously, the store buys it at maybe $20. They make $10 profit, blah blah blah. But since there's no like real law for the restaurants and for other bars, so it's I would like to buy a case of Corona for the brew shop that we have for some reason. Molson could be like, well, you've never bought from us, and then we don't have a contract, so here it's $80. Mm-hmm. But legally, I cannot go to like fucking Costco and buy a case and sell it where I'm at, because all these bottles have a little sticker on it that says government paid for restaurant, blah blah blah. So when the laws we're trying to change for microbreweries is kind of related to that law, and since Molson, Labatt, Sleeman, whatever, are all making money through it because they sell cases at a ridiculous price for a restaurant and for bar owners, they don't want it to change because they're making money. And obviously, they have more money than us, so it's easier for them to fight what we kind of want for the microbreweries. So we're trying to change the fact that there's 2 permits for brewers, put it at 1 so that it's a bit more lax. But after that, we're still stuck because of the big guns don't want us to move too many. And that's why there's places, like Turbo House, that now has cans for microbrews and whatnot. But I believe it was still a mess to kind of get it in there. So it tends to get complicated to sell to other institutions and to even just people. So
I have nothing to say about that because I don't even know the laws and permits. I know some permits, but just like for me, it's so blurry for me. It's just I don't know much, so I won't be any help for that question.
Even just with the even pre-pandemic, only one of the 2 brewing permit could have growlers to go, and it was just like the brew pub. So like the artisanal brewer could do growlers. Industrial couldn't, even if they had a tap room.
Okay.
That also changed during the pandemic because they were like, what the fuck are we going to do with our kegs? Like, we can't do shit. So now we can do, but only if you have not a tap room, I guess, a brew pub. So you need to have food, but basically a bag of chips is food. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny because you talk about brew pub. I've been to L'Espace Public during like my little vacation in Montreal, and L'Espace Public. I haven't been to. I have been more to the brew pub.
Oh,
that was open.
I'm out of focus.
I've been to the brew pub, and they were just selling fucking olives and egg and chips. But like, I wanted to eat. I wanted to eat like something like consistent.
The first year they opened, or maybe the second year, they had like 2 panini press that they got like at Walmart, and they were doing like, I wouldn't say shitty panini. They were good, but it was like it wasn't quality food. It was
At
just
least
like
do
2 hours
fucking
food.
grilled cheese. It's so easy to do.
But yeah,
grilled
they got a slap on the wrist because they were making food and prepping food, and they don't have a restaurant license, which is another fucking permit. So like us, we can have food, but we cannot prepare it. So that's why we have like bags of chip. But I couldn't, let's say, buy a fucking large Costco size bag of peanuts and then have it in small pot, because then I would actually touch the food. So I'm not allowed to touch anything, and then it's dumb because right across the street from us there's
I have
bolt
an
place that do like peanuts and stuff like that.
Okay, so I have an idea. Let's say that you sell something to put in the microwave, but like you don't touch the microwave. It's the client that goes to the microwave.
Wow, yeah, I could sell frozen burritos. I guess that would work.
I mean, you sell like frozen food. And like,
that could probably be a workaround. I would.
You put an oven like in the tap room and be like,
what about
yo,
like how gas stations have like the hot dog and like the catitos, you know, on the little roller, but like the person has to grab it themselves.
I don't know for the U.S. I guess here there's only one chain of convenience store that really does food, I'd say. But no, they all have like the coffee and muffins and stuff like that.
Couche-Tard is doing
so,
like, yeah.
But I don't know if they have a different permit for that or what the fuck they're doing. But I guess even any convenience store, if you buy like a slushie, then somebody still had to put their dirty hands into like fucking shitty powder to make that shit. So I don't know how it works for them. But I don't know, man. There's so many fucking permits that the government just want their piece of money out of everything. So
I mean,
yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. It's like you buy the fucking frozen food, and like the client is just like doing it themselves. So like it's like you don't go. It's a loophole, basically. It's a loophole in the law because you sell something, you don't even touch it because it's the client that is touching it. So like,
I would have to check, but I think it has to still be in the original packaging, so I wouldn't be able to open the box that has the burrito
you don't
in it,
even
like something like that.
No. Okay, so let's say you buy the thing, you can test it without even selling it. So you test it, and then like when you sell it to the client, just sell it as it is. He opens it, like if
the box has more than one in it. If you buy a box of 4, then I cannot open the box. They're not, unless I buy individually wrapped and buy it by the unit. I cannot open a box full of 4 that are in packaging.
Yeah, no, but
that's done like this.
Like. Okay, so let's say you just buy fucking frozen like pizza pocket pizza.
Yeah.
Well, you just sell the fucking box.
What if you did BYOF, like bring your own food?
But that's what we do.
Yeah.
That's still better.
There's a pizza place right around the street, and then we put flyers and like if you want food, just order from them. They're right here. It's gonna take 5 minutes.
Or even like a big thing out here that I noticed has turned into is like breweries have started to do like they'll work with another business, like food trucks, and like the food truck thing has become like a big thing again. It's like everybody's just always bringing around the food truck. They always have one like every day of the week.
Or you do like Double Down and with peppercorns.
So Double Down is a rather special case because they're not the first ones to do that with peppercorns. So for context, there's a restaurant literally 2 minutes or a minute down the road from me, and they have had a small brewery attached to the restaurant for as long as I've known it. Wormtown started in there. And another brewery called Flying Dreams took over when Wormtown got big enough and they left. And the owner of Peppercorns was like involved in Wormtown, and so that's kind of like how that whole thing started. But they had the restaurant first, and then they just added the brewery to it. Now, the brewery was mostly, like, you couldn't go and sit in it. Like, it wasn't, like, its own entity. It was advertised as the restaurant brewery, but it was mostly just the restaurant. And then Flying Dreams happened, and now they're on there's this another one, Double Down, where they've sort of, like, made the brewery have like its own little spot. It has a tiny bar that you can sit at now in like a gift shop, but they don't necessarily have like, I would say like a place. Like the way the restaurant's set up is it's 2 sides. There's a pub side, and then the brewery's like attached to the pub side down some stairs. And then there's there's like, you know, like a regular like classic seating. And so you can get every beer that the brewery has in the restaurant and eat vice versa, you know? So I don't know how that all works. It's definitely like a weird thing, because it's not like they're sort of equal parts. It's like the restaurant has a brewery of like its own. Yeah,
That kind of works, I guess. Like that would make sense, because then I guess they pay less for their beer, and then the brewery has a place for their customer to eat. So and it's cheaper for both of the entities or both company to actually have like a brewery with a full restaurant and a restaurant with a full brewery in it. So
I think that's pretty.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, to be honest.
and I think the way and like I said, like one of the people who like was involved in owning Peppercorns, I'm pretty sure, is involved in Wormtown, and like that's sort of like how that had started. And I think that once Wormtown got big enough and like separated, they just brought another brewery in. And then it sounds like that this was sort of like the same idea, you know? So it's like they're always sort of like bringing in the new blood. I mean, dude, they probably, they were that right now they don't sell cans. They sell crowlers. So they'll sell the 32 ounce cans. Because that's sort of like what they can do batch wise. Because in reality, like you go there, like I'm not kidding, it's like small. It's the smallest setup I've ever seen. Wouldn't surprise me if they actually had some sort of like out of house brewing going on at like another brewery, because they just don't have the capacity.
how many line there is at the pub? Like how many different beer they have?
I think now they do all of the mostly in-house stuff. So it's like almost 12. So they basically supply kegs for the restaurant at this moment.
Yeah.
They do not distribute. That's sort of their deal.
So yeah, they could have a small one and just do like bunch of batches of keg, and that's it, and depending on how fast it goes. I mean, hey, if it works for them, good.
Talking to some of the people in Double Down, they never wanted to distribute. They want people to come to them, which is always a great idea, because that's how Treehouse started. Treehouse doesn't distribute its beer now, but in the beginning they did, and that's how they kind of got on the radar. But now you can't go to like, you know, your regular liquor store or restaurant or anything like that and get Treehouse beer. You have to go to Treehouse to get it. And it's one of the only places I know of that you can that's the case.
This goes back to being unique and being out of like the mainstream of thing. Like if you don't fight for like a room on shelf at the beer store, and then people needs to come to your place, this technically assure your lifespan, because obviously unless nobody goes to your place, like you're making way more money out of a keg than you are doing through cans or through bottles, like for sure. So this is also great, and then having like distribution and stuff, so just so your name gets around, is also a good publicity stunt, I would say.
Yeah, it's definitely. I've always said that Treehouse. I've always thought that their beer was like, they have great, you know, their flagship stuff is like, I mean, top notch, you know, awesome stuff. Are they any better when it comes to other things than anybody else? Absolutely not. But what they are really good at is they're really good at selling themselves. Like the guys that basically started it and came up with it were geniuses in the idea that they sort of just knew how to play everything. So they knew when to distribute, they knew when to pull out, and they knew like exactly like when to have people come to them, like when to sort of.
To be fair, knowing when
up.
to pull out is always a good thing.
But like they're just geniuses of business over there. Like they just know exactly how, like they have their pulse on it. You know, they just know when to do things, and it just always seems like it works out for them. They have 2 locations now, so they're 3, but they have the one originally here in Charlton. Now they have one in Cape Cod. So it's like they just expanded. Trillium is moving out of Canton, and they're moving to Spencer. And they're about to sort of do the same thing that Treehouse did, where they're building, like, it's going to be like a complex. And it's like, they're just totally like, you got to go to them. But it's like a day trip sort of idea. You go there, you do your thing, spend all this time. And that's how I could kind of see, like, certain breweries and stuff sort of going. Some of them just kind of turned into, like, these complexes.
That is pretty cool. I don't think we really have. I mean, we have a few that are like on the bigger side for sure, but most of them still do deliveries. Mostly like I don't know. There's a few that are only on the spot and are still known to be like some of the best beer, but I think I can only name like 1 or 2.
Ovad?
Nah, because Ovad distributes.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of the brewery most known for like good, like super good like lagers and wild ferment stuff, mostly like open fermenters and spontaneously ferment beer. But they're in the middle of like nowhere, I'd say. Like from like me, if I go there, it's like 8 hours drive or some shit. Like, and then there's nothing else to do over there, and then come back.
Yeah.
Except the fact that there's 2 other brewery in the same vein as them over there. But they still, like, they don't have a tap room or nothing. It's just like a little bottle shop that's open on one Saturday out of the month or some shit like that. Only when they have beer, they post on Facebook, hey, we're going to be open on Saturday, and that's it. Because they brew, like, very small batch, but they still distribute. To very few places, but they still distribute.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But I was gonna say Le Garde in Montreal would probably be the one. Now they've opened up a coffee shop inside the restaurant, which works as a like private import bottle shop, so you can buy like wine and imported beers. But they don't even have their own beer in that shop. Like if you want the beer, you have to go inside and sit at the bar, sit at the restaurant, and it's a full-on restaurant. And then they sell also like a bunch of merch and whatnot. But it's the only one I know. Like they've done cans during the pandemic to survive, and then they were like, "No, we're done. That's it. We're not doing it again." So, but that's, I think it's the only one I know, except like a couple of places that works as a restaurant that has their beer, like mostly in some touristy place or like further away. I know a place that's it's a farm in the back, and then the front is just like this tiny restaurant. It's also like a showroom, so they have like a bunch of like tiny artists for like local artists and stuff like that. And they make all the beers with stuff from their farm, so it's kind of cool. But yeah, they're open like 2 days a week, and that's it. So yeah, no, but yeah, the bigger one, and then the one with multiple location, we've only had that with like the ones that make shit ton of money, and obviously sell like fucking by pallets all over the place. So yeah, and I don't like these breweries, so I'm not gonna name them.
Well, it was a big discussion about beers, but now
in industry, I don't
In
think we've
industry.
done one like that. Normally we would
I
talk
think
about
it
the
was-
individual beers, but the industry, you know.
So how was the surprise, Evan? Did you like it?
Dude, I miss Stef, man.
You thought it was a surprise, but it was me all along.
No, it's all, dude. It's always it is a surprise. It's a nice surprise, you know. Stef is one of the original Thirsty Thursday guys, as well as our friend, and so
Oh man,
it's been nice.
Sheesh, you.
It's been nice to to talk to you again. I just, it's crazy how only 2 years ago we all met each other, and
but it's been a bit more than 2 years, I guess. Yeah,
and it's become like this. It's become like this whole group, and obviously we're here now doing the podcast, and you're a guest, and I mean, you guys are gonna probably go and talk to the other people because Thursdays still happen. Phil has taken them over. Matt did them, and then I was doing them, and now Phil does them. So I mean, we still have them, and it's still the same people.
Yeah,
it's still the same people, dude. Like, there's still that core group of people that fucking.
We're clearly not awesome. 88 people again, like the first few weeks back then.
It used to be so many, yeah.
But it used to take like forever. Now it takes forever because we're drunk and rambling. That's it.
Oh my god. There were so many like cool things that we did too. Like we did 104.5 VOX&HOPS. I took everybody's we made a playlist. I still have it, actually. But everybody contributed to this playlist that we made. It's like not a single metal song is on it. It's just like the craziest music we could come up with.
The Disney Power Hour.
Oh, bro, yeah. I did a Disney Power Hour one night. I think I lasted about 4 songs before everybody was just like, "This is ass. What are we doing?" I was so excited to do it.
Evan,
I loved it, dude.
I remember the first time I went to meet you in Worcester. We did a power hour with AJ.
Yeah.
So we were like on the fucking sofa, we're drinking, and like, oh, okay, drink. I was like,
so I'm assuming those listening know what a power hour is, but for those that don't do it. You didn't have fun growing up. Basically, like, going out at night, like, it's so hard to be like, I need to ramp up for like most everything that I do. And so you could go on the fucking YouTubes and they'll have like songs or whatever. And for like 60 songs, snippets of like songs, they'll fucking play a snippet and then after you drink. Well, me and my friends have got obsessed with this Disney Power Hour one. Because it was all Disney music, and we would watch it every time before we go out, and we would just every 10th one we would take a shot of something hard, but if not, we were doing, just killing beers,
just the beer,
and I mean, it pretty much became like a personality at that point. Like, it was like all we did, dude. We did it so much.
It's like, you want to go out tonight? Nah, let's just do like 2 or 3 power hours.
Yeah, pretty much. And then you're set. Then you're ready to go, That was always the best, man. I loved it. Steph hated it, but I loved it.
It's dumb. There's a lot of things I hate from your ideas. I just want to put that out there. Like,
which is pumpkin beer, and power hour.
He doesn't like pumpkin beers. I made him make a pumpkin beer. Well, it wasn't just me. There was other people involved in that.
Yeah, they made me do it. Was the name of it. So that kind of works. I kept a bottle that I drank like a year and a half later, and it was still shit. It was terrible. It didn't age well. A, it didn't age well. B, it was still pretty shit.
Well, you know what? It was still awesome.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it again. So, yeah. And we have a no pumpkin at the brewery. So, sorry.
Well, don't worry. Christmas is around the corner, so...
Oh, we already have a Christmas beer, actually.
Yeah, do you?
Yeah, it's going to be shitty. Actually, we might have a second one, but we realized we had too many kegs, so we're going to like retransfer a keg in a fermenter and make just dump a shit ton of cranberry in it. It's actually a wit beer, a Belgian wit, and we're putting cranberries in it, so it's holiday theme.
You calling it the Scrooge?
I should. We don't have a name. We're actually just gonna use the regular cans for the wit and print stickers that says cranberry and shove it on each one of them, and that's it.
Mm,
So yeah,
not
cranberry
bad.
for holidays. I wanted to do like the gingerbread house thing beer, but no, it didn't. It didn't go through with the rest of the guys.
No,
Huh.
yeah.
So,
This was nice, dude. Yeah, it's always
sure.
good to see you. It's always good to see you, buddy.
Yes, always a pleasure.
Yeah.
and now it's the time for the shoutouts. Do you have something, Evan?
Well, Steph, you want to go first? You got a shout out? You got something you want to get off your chest?
Habs is still losing, so that's happening against fucking Columbus, so that's great.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's what I had to say.
I think the Bruins are playing too. So.
Or else I'll shout out the obvious, which is go listen to the new Frog Lord album that came out 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
because
dude,
that shit
Army
is
of
bomb.
Frogs.
And who doesn't like some frog metal?
That's what I will say. I did make Steph proud last year when I included Frog Lord on my top 10.
Frog Lord is my shit.
They might
love that guy.
And yeah, they did just come out with their recent Army of Frogs stuff. I enjoy it. I hope that they eventually have the opportunity to come over to the States. They're a UK band.
Yeah.
They haven't really had a huge show presence yet, so there's kind of still infancy.
But I mean,
So-
for long, I believe even that album, it's still a one-man show, basically. Like, he has touring member, but it's still one
He
guy
has show
doing-
members, but yeah, it's just one guy.
So, yeah.
But it's a cool.
Which-
It's cool. I mean, the Bog Wizard EP was awesome.
Yeah.
That one, I think that was probably some of their best stuff so far. Was in the Bog Wizard, the Bog and the Frog.
The Bog and the Frog.
Yeah,
Or Frog in the Bog.
Frog and a Bog. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
What do you got, Phil?
But yeah, that was fucking good.
So, what is yours, Evan?
So I am so back and forth because I actually listened to a lot of stuff this week. I actually found, oh man, there's so many that I could shout out. Fugitive, Innumerable Forms, Stycones, Stearconus. But I'm gonna go with what was actually one of my favorites last year. I just got the vinyl the other day for the original first album for Dream Unending, Tide Turns Eternal, which is a fantastic record. But Song of Salvation just came out via $20 spin, and it's every bit that I expected it to be. Now, it's not like the first one. This one is definitely more upfront with its approach, whereas the last one was a little more drawn out, whimsical almost. So it was definitely nice to kind of have like a few less songs, but sort of like a more upfront approach. But they did a fantastic job as always. I mean, those guys are awesome. Check it out.
Well, mine is Ingested, Ashes Lie Still. They released this album this year. It's a fucking good album. To be fair, I really liked the last one. The last one was so good. This one is like a continuity, a little bit of the last one, but still fucking rips, man. Ingested is fucking good. The Slam King is still here. Like his fucking voices, this guy is so good.
No bassist
Like-
still.
Huh?
No bassist.
The bassist is Dom Grimard, like who is working a lot with Christian Donaldson for the mixing and producing and all. But like Dom Grimal is doing the bass on Ingested right now. Like I think he's doing like some live and some session like recording on bass.
Yeah.
So that's pretty interesting. And yeah, that is my shout out. Ingested, Ashes Lie Still. Go check it out, peeps.
Well, everybody, as always, thank you for listening. Go check out Stef's Podcrastination.
And also, very soon is the Decidre.
Yeah, very soon I'm doing my advent calendar of cider reviews. So a new video every fucking day of my face talking about ciders. Mostly in French, so sorry guys. But yeah, that's what I do. And if you ever want to chat about beer, then drop me a line and I'll say that your opinions are shit.
I'll tell you, I think most of our fan base is literally just French Canadian, so
That's probably
cool
all
with
of
that.
us, yeah.
no, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, and then a few other peeps, from Texas and
Yo, everybody
whatever.
in Australia.
Other peeps from. Oh, there you go.
A lot of
Germany.
a few Australian people.
Oh, there you go.
Funny
cool.
enough, I saw one in China, and I was like, "Oh, well, there's Felix."
Yeah, for sure. The one dot like in Asia, you're like, it's Felix again. Hi, Felix.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. Well, guys, this has been another edition of Whispers from the Void. As always, Evan.
And Phil, and see you on the next one. Cheers.
Peace.
Sorry.